How's it going, my true people? DrSlaking, the Slacking Doctor, back here on the UCC channel with another post-com battle for you guys against this week. I try to remember his team name. I forgot his team name already, but against Ben. I think it's Ben D, not Ben H. It's not Checkmate Ben. It's the other Ben, the better Ben. But I can't remember his team name. Oh my goodness. Either way, back here with this was my week one. I have no idea what game week it was for the UCC, but this was my first week here in the UCC, using the draft that I took over rather than the draft, or rather than the team that I had made my trades to, so this was a tricky one. As ever, we're going to jump straight in with a quick kind of team recap, show you what I built, why I built it, very, very quickly, and then we'll get into the replay of the battle. And yeah, so looking at this, basically, I'm going to start at the back end of the order here with the Ferrothorn, because the most important Pokemon for me in this build was Chandelure, which is down here, so I want to get to that last. I want to kind of set things up. So, with this Ferrothorn, we brought Spikes, Stealth Rock, Gyro Ball, and Thunder Wave. Now, I know Thunder Wave and Gyro Ball don't necessarily logically pair together that well, but I had my reasons, and I had Ockerberry so that I could live a Fire Blast from the Naganadel, I believe. I'm not sure if I lived at +1, probably not, but this Spadef investment was definitely with that in mind. And then we have some physical as well and HP. Pretty standard set, minus speed to power up the Gyro Ball. Why I had Thunder Wave will kind of be explained as we go, because I realize it doesn't make that much sense. But it will make sense later on in the rest of the build. Then I brought the Hitmonchan. I just kind of wanted to use Hitmonchan. It was something that I was trading away, but that I'd always been curious about, so I was like, okay, well, this is my chance to at least try Hitmonchan. So I brought an AV set with Rapid Spin, Rock Tomb, Mach Punch, and Drain Punch. Rock Tomb was really just there, probably to slow things down. I don't think it was much for coverage, because I don't remember him having 4 times Rock weakness that stood out to me, but I mean, it might have been. AV with enough special defense investment to live something, and a little bit of speed, and nearly full attack. I'm guessing whatever I had left went into attack after I'd speed crept and lived a certain calc with the AV. Not entirely sure what though. And of course, Adamant Nature to hit really, really hard. I had high hopes for this set. I thought it would at least be fun and it'd be good removal, but I haven't watched this replay of the battle back, by the way, guys. And this battle was like, I want to say 3-4 weeks ago. So my memory may be a little bit hazy on 1 or 2 specifics, maybe 2 weeks ago. I don't know, it was a while ago, so I've had a few battles since then, so if I make some mistakes, I'm kind of going to be reacting to the video as with you guys. Now this set really didn't work. I've got Nuzzle, Volt Switch, Super Fang, and Natural Gift with Roselli Berry, which should have turned Natural Gift into a Fairy type move from my understanding of how Natural Gift worked. I'm starting to think that perhaps I don't understand how Natural Gift works, and I still don't really get it, because this didn't seem to work very well at all. I think this should turn into like a base 80 power Fairy type move. Picked Roselli Berry because it halves the damage from special Fairy type moves, so I couldn't eat it. I thought that was how it worked. I thought you were supposed to not eat the berry and then use it when you use Natural Gift. I don't really know. I don't really know how that works. If you know how Natural Gift works, then please let me know, because someone did comment, I think other Ben, Checkmate Ben, commented in the chat that it was physical, and that's what I got wrong. Yeah, there you go, character physical. Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was special. I just assumed it was special. That's where I'm going wrong. So maybe that's the bit that I didn't understand. I'm not quite sure. But anyway, Timid Nature with just enough speed to outspeed something at 101. I'm guessing it was a base 100 with that speed investment. And then the rest special attack and HP. Makes a lot of sense there. Nuzzle, like the Thunder Wave on the Ferrothorn, was brought for very specific reasons that will kind of be explained later in the build. Then we got the Zygarde 10%. I'm kind of disappointed I traded this thing away because I really liked using it, liked building with it. So yeah, I kind of wish I'd kept this now with hindsight. But there we go, Jolly Nature. Guessing outspeed a base 100, not really sure. 348, 330. So no, probably something a little bit faster, maybe a 105 or something, maybe a 110 at a push. Probably a 110 because I've got the Jolly Nature. And Scarf to make sure we outspeed whatever it is. I was also worried about him bringing it Scarfed. Iron Tail, 1000 Arrows, Outrage, and Extreme Speed. I was going to bring a Dragon Dance set on this and then only changed it at the very last minute. If I remember right, I kind of regretted that and thought maybe a Dragon Dance set would have been better. But it doesn't really matter too much. I think maybe I was trying to outspeed a +1 speed Naganadel if it was like modest or something. Maybe. No, that wouldn't work because then it would get a special attack boost. I'm not sure. There was something that I was trying to outspeed there. Then a penultimate Pokemon, which was also really important for this build, Venomoth with the Focus Sash and T-Spikes, Sleep Powder, Bug Buzz, Hidden Power, Fire. Don't remember what the Hidden Power was for. Decent Spadef here, so probably Naganadel again. I know that was a big concern of mine. Although actually I wouldn't have a Fire Blast anyway, so I'm not really sure. And then decent speed. Definitely trying to get up T-Spikes. That's why I got the Focus Sash. I wanted to get up T-Spikes at the very least. That was my minimum goal here. Because here's the most important Pokemon on the team. Choice Scarfed, Hex, Chandelure. I realized that with one or two of his Mons broken and status on the rest, I could break through his whole team with Hex. I could just sweep through the team. I needed to get like 20% on a couple of things and take care of the immunities like Kamala. If I could have done that, then Chandelure would have just swept through. So it was quite a simple strategy really, was to get up T-Spikes, keep them on the field for as long as I could. Bear in mind, he had the Naganadel soak them up, so I was always trying to make sure that Naganadel didn't come in before I got everything else status. And then the Thunder Wave and the Nuzzle to try and get the status on the other things on his team, such as the Naganadel, such as, I think maybe like a Registeel or something, some kind of steel type that he had. So just trying to make sure I build up as much stats as I can, and then I can just sweep with the Hex. That was the kind of game plan here. Hidden Power Rock would have been coverage for something. Psychic definitely would have been for the Naganadel, and Fire Blast I guess was just for powerful stab. The investments, fairly straightforward. Speed would have been to outspeed something with the Scarf, and HP with what's left over after we've even gone full special attack modest. This thing will hit like an absolute truck. Anyway, with that very quick team recap, we will now get straight into the battle. Here we are with the battle, guys, and I apologize if it seemed like I was rushing at the end of that kind of team recap. I was really starting to lose my voice and needed to grab a glass of water. I have now got one, which I've nearly drank already. I haven't recorded in weeks, and I've been recording like, I think I've done like 4 videos in the past 10 hours, and my voice is just starting to give out on me a little bit. But you guys don't really care about that. Let's just get on with the battle and see how everything goes. Like I say, I haven't watched this back since the battle, so I'm trying to react along with you guys, which is going to be interesting. So I lead off with the Venomoth. Just want to get my T-Spikes up early. We get the first layer up. He Fire Fangs me. I go for the Sleep Powder here just so I can get a free switch into something. Unfortunately, we miss. I was going to preserve my Venomoth, I think, for later on if Naganadel came out. We go for a big Drain Punch on the Steelix here, and we actually pop his Weakness Policy. Now, that was pretty big. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought, yeah, I'll fire off 2 Drain Punches. How much can he do to me? Like, what, 50%? 70%? I'm not sure. But I wasn't expecting him to do too much, and then the second Drain Punch would have recovered back like another 20% or something. So I was like, okay, I'll probably be on, what, minimum like 50% at the end of this exchange. It's not ideal, but it's okay. Like, this thing is so physically bulky, and I didn't want to bring Chandelure in straight away. I hadn't popped it Sturdy, I don't believe, if it had Sturdy. So I was just like, I've got to do something else. So that was my kind of thinking there. With hindsight, I think I should have brought a slightly different Ferrothorn set, but then he had the Fire Fang, so I guess not. Yeah, we bring in Zygarde now, just to spam 1,000 arrows. We know we can clean this thing off at this range. He goes out into Milo, which of course actually gets his Marvel Scale. I don't know if he was Flame Orb or not, but even if he was, I think regular poison does more each turn than burn does anyway, so that's slightly better. Obviously, if I could have got my second layer of Toxic Spikes up, that would have meant that he would have had toxic damage racking up, which would have been really, really nice. So I maybe shouldn't have gone for the Sleep Powder. I should have just gone for that second layer of Spikes, but I kind of wanted to preserve my Venomoth in case the Naganadel came in. We go hard into Ferrothorn here. Fairly easy switch on the Scald. As he goes UCC, we get our rocks up. We're going to start wearing things down. We get to click Thunder Wave here, and this is actually, I forgot to mention it team preview. When I saw his team, it wasn't Registeel, it was Steelix he had. I realized that, hold on, he has one Levitate Mon that can't be statused from the T-Spikes. A Steel Mon which led off anyway but couldn't be statused from the T-Spikes. A Poison Mon which would just soak them up. And Kamala, which is immune to status anyway. I didn't really realize this until I got into battle, and then I was like, because I had my game plan so set before I got to team preview. So Milotic, which could have been Flame Orb anyway, got poisoned, and the Absol will get poisoned. That's it. My game plan to lay down T-Spikes only worked on 2 of the team he brought. It was not the best plan. I was just thinking to myself, well, he won't bring, like, Yes, he has a Steelix. Yes, he has a Kamala. Yes, he has the UCC. Yes, he has the Naganadel. But he won't bring 4 of those. And yes, he has a Milotic, but he won't necessarily bring Flame Orb. I don't know if he did or not, but I was just thinking to myself, like, there's no way he'll bring all of the checks to this game plan. And he really did, and I'm sure it wasn't intentional. It just happened that they matched up well against my team. There's no way he was expecting a T-Spikes Hex set, but that's what happened anyway. So we just started layering on the spikes here. He goes for Fire Punch and pops out Occa Berry, which isn't ideal losing it to the UCC, but there we go. We click Gyro Ball, and we actually take some Rocky Helmet damage from the UCC, which was unexpected. So we just go to stack Spikes instead. And as you can see, Spikes are doing a decent amount of damage. We go out into the Dene, and just Volt Switch on this thing, get about 27%. It's not bad at all. Not bad. Go back out into Pharaoh. As he EQs, I think I was hoping to take like a return or something into the Iron Barbs there. Try and get some more chip. We go for our last layer of spikes. As he starts bulking up, didn't really expect set up Kamala, and I pop his Papa Berry there, which is a bit of a disaster. We go out into Dedenne, and I click Natural Gift. Now, I click Natural Gift here because I think that's my most powerful move. I think, yeah, this is basically like a Moonblast from a Dedenne, which Dedenne does not learn Moonblast, hence why I wasn't running Moonblast. I was like, this is like a Moonblast. This is going to do a decent amount. Did not know it was physical. Now that I know that it's physical and he was at +2 defense, I get why it did like 0. This is just me being a little bit inexperienced. I'm trying to learn. Those of you guys that have come over from my channel know that I'm pretty new to competitive Pokemon, so I'm still learning a lot. Here we had a bit of a problem because we were down to our last 2 mons, which were supposed to be late game sweepers, and I have not achieved everything I wanted to achieve. The Naganadel doesn't have a status on it. Everything else does, so Hex could potentially put in a decent amount of work, but this thing resists the Hex anyway, I believe. I can't remember how much Hex did to it. It still did a decent amount, but it can obviously hit me with a Sucker Punch really, really hard. The more I talk about this, the more I realise my game plan was not a good one. This was one of my weakest game plans going into this with the whole Hex thing, but it seemed good at the time. He just brought everything that checked it. I think I just... Oh, I do switch here. And he goes for the Sucker Punch. That's why I switch. I thought that was why I would switch. Expecting the Sucker Punch and realising that, hey, if I switch out, I can reset my Hex at least. Probably take out the UCC, which is asleep, and this, which is burnt. It really depends on Naganadel. I think it's a roll on Naganadel if I take that out, so that's kind of why I make that play. 1,000 arrows just get some chip off on this thing. I think even without the sleep Hex still sweeps this thing. We click Hex there, and I think we click Hex here again, even though it doesn't have the status, as you can see. So that actually takes us down to 4% there with that Hex. If we had got the Thunder Wave on this thing, if we just managed to get this thing out and get the Thunder Wave on it, I think we would have swept at this point. That was still a roll. I believe it was like a... I think I had something like a 25% chance to kill him, maybe a 30% chance to kill him. It was around a Scald Burn chance to kill him, if I remember right. Not 100% on that, but I think that was the case, excuse me. So I didn't get I wasn't unlucky to not take him out there. I would have been lucky to take him out, but I still had a chance. I was still like, okay, maybe I have a chance. And crucially here, if he wasn't a speed boosting nature, then I think Zygarde maybe had a chance to clean up at the end. I'm not entirely sure. Oh no, because he had Flame Orb Milotic, so probably not. Probably not. As he fires off the D-Pulse, takes me out. But he is a speed boosting thing anyway. And I believe that means he outspeeds me. So I have to click E-Speed. And then Milotic obviously comes in. Yeah, I think maybe looking at this damage at 21%, I think, if I'm right and he wasn't a speed boosting nature, had I clicked Outrage or 1,000 Arrows, I'm not sure which, I had a chance to kill the Milotic with all of the kind of chip on it. I mean, you just saw we did 21% with the E-Speed. If you make it a more powerful move, plus stab, we maybe could have got that extra kind of 30% that we needed, maybe. I'm not sure if it was a roll still. But there was some end game bits where I still had hope. I was still like, hey, maybe if I get the roll on the Hex, or maybe if he isn't a speed boosting nature, or there was like all these things I was like, unfortunately, none of them worked out. So he is able just to fire off the Ice Beam and, of course, take out Zydog in one hit. But it was an interesting battle, and GG to my man Ben. It was a fun battle for sure. I'm a little bit disappointed with how I played in the battle, but really I'm more disappointed with the prep. Like, looking back at it, it wasn't a team that I drafted, so like I could rely on that excuse and be like, hey, I wouldn't use these mons usually, but at the same time, I had to do better with it than that. Like, that wasn't good enough, I don't think. So it was worth a shot, but unfortunately it didn't happen. Just very quickly, what I'm going to do is I am going to talk about the changes I made, because this was the only battle where I had to use a team that I didn't draft. I was supposed to have one more battle, which never happened. So I'm trying to open my laptop right now so that I can get up the trades to talk to you guys about. I would put them on the screen, but I don't know how cropping and everything else is going to work. So what I'm going to do very quickly here is, for those of you that are interested who aren't, coaches in the league or anything like that, I am just going to talk about the trades that I made and why. So I had Mega Tyranitar on this draft originally. Registeel, Dedenne, Diancie, Hitmonchan, Chandelure, Zygarde, and Latias. These are all the ones that I traded away. Mega Tyranitar, Registeel, Dedenne, Diancie, Chandelure. There's also Darmanitan, which I kept. Just right off the bat there, that's 6. I don't know if there was more that I'm not thinking of straight off the top of my head, but that's 6 mons that are weak to ground. And I was like, okay, there is a huge problem with this draft in that ground Pokemon can just sweep me. Like, if I came up against a Zygarde and it just clicked 1,000 arrows, it would probably just win. Like, I just didn't handle ground at all well. So that was something that I had to change, really had to change. So to do that, I traded out Mega Tyranitar for Mega Manectric. Yeah, I know that doesn't add a ground resistance. In fact, it keeps me where I was. But I just wanted to use Mega Manectric. It gave me 40 more points. Mega Manectric was lower tiered than Mega Tyranitar. In my opinion, if you don't have a Sand team, which I didn't, I had Mega Tyranitar without any Sand synergy, then Mega Manectric's kind of better, I think. Like, I feel like it's a better Mega anyway if you're not trying to set up Sand, in my opinion. So I was happy to take 40 extra points and get to try my boy Mega Manectric, which is a Pokemon I've been wanting to try for so long. Then Registeel I traded out for Hariyama. It got rid of a ground weakness. Okay, it didn't add a resistance or anything, but it just got rid of one of the weaknesses. Hariyama, I think, is a really cool mon. Obviously, getting thick fat, getting guts, it can be run offensive, it can be run defensive. I just think it's a really interesting mon, so I was like, okay, I definitely want to try out Hariyama. Then Dedenne went out for Aromatisse. I don't even really think I have to explain that one. Aromatisse is just a better fairy than Dedenne. For starters, it gets Moonblast, so you don't have to run stupid physical, natural gift, or whatever it's called. And 2, Wish Support, it's just very nice, it's very fat, it gave me so much of the bulk. That's the other problem, is you may have heard from these mons I traded out. Registeel's fairly bulky, Mega Tyranitar arguably is fairly bulky. Diancie, regular Diancie arguably is fairly bulky, but like, I don't think of them as that bulky. Really, Mega Tyranitar's got a 4 times weakness to fighting, which is a fairly common offensive typing. And Diancie's got a 4 times weakness to steel, which isn't super rare offensive typing, so I was like, I don't know, they weren't great walls to me. So Aromatisse came in for Dedenne, gave me some extra bulk. Then Diancie went out for Azelf, kind of a mascot pick, I guess, for the late District Spirits, but also Azelf is just an awesome mon, and it gave us Levitate, so we got rid of a ground weakness and added a ground immunity. That was brilliant. Also gave us Stealth Rock, so we didn't lose that from Diancie. Then Hitmonchan went out. As I picked up Hariyama, I wasn't too concerned about having Hitmonchan anymore. Went out for Hydreigon. Hydreigon is a monster. It gets U-Turn, it gets Defog, Draco Meteor, Dark Stab. Its coverage is insane. You guys know that I love like pivot mons if you've been around on the channel for a while, so U-Turn was really clutch for me, and having another remover when I was getting rid of Hitmonchan was important. I just really like Hydreigon, and I think it was a lower tier than Latias, and as I was getting rid of Latias and Zygarde, I just wanted to have that kind of dragon firepower. Maybe I should have kept Latias, but I don't know about that. And then Chandelure I traded out for Aerodactyl. That gave us another ground type immunity, which was really nice. Obviously, it gives us Defog and Hazards again, so that's nice. I've never used Aerodactyl. I was just curious to try it, I guess. I think it's a cool mon. It hits pretty hard. So I was just like, yeah, let's give Aerodactyl a go. I'm not saying it's better than Chandelure. I think Chandelure is awesome too. But as I already had Darmanitan, and I know Darmanitan, and I love Darmanitan, I was like, there's no need for me to keep Chandelure, in my opinion. Zygarde 10% I traded out for Seismitoad. I do believe Zygarde 10% is a better mon. I kind of wish I'd kept Zygarde 10%. However, Seismitoad gave us Swift Swim with several rain teams already running around. So that gave me my own Swift Swim mon. It gave me Water Absorb if I wanted to run it that way. And I can't remember what its third ability is, but I'm pretty sure it has a decent third ability as well. Whatever that is. I can't remember. But also it gave me a nice ground type, so I could soak up those electric hits. I don't think I had a ground type on the draft previous to that. Zygarde was my ground type, so it kind of replaced that. And crucially, it gave me another 40 points to spend on other mons, and that was really important to have the extra points. So I'm really happy with Seismitoad. You guys will see Seismitoad brought in the future. It's a cool mon. It has utility. I like it a lot. And I think it gets rocks, which Zygarde doesn't, I think. So I think it gave me another Stealth Rocker. And then last trade I made was Latias out, Blissey in. That one's self-explanatory. You only draft Blissey for one reason, because you want something fat, and I wanted something fat. So I've added, Aromatisse, Thick Fat Hariyama if I run it that way, Blissey and Seismitoad. These are all a lot fatter than the ones I traded out. I felt like the draft needed that kind of bulk without all those 4 times weaknesses. I know Seismitoad has 4 times weakness grass, but the rest of them don't. And I was like, yes, this is good. This feels better to me. So I've got a little bit more of a mixed, bulky offense, I guess, now. I'm really, really happy with the trades I made. I don't know what you guys think, but after watching this replay back, I'm glad I got rid of the Dene. Clearly, I was not putting it work with that thing. Hitmonchan, I squandered the one time I got to use it. Zygarde's the only one I would have liked to kept around. And Chandelure is cool, but I love Darmanitan, so I'm going to keep Darmanitan. And with that, guys, I'm going to end it here. I will be back whenever I decide to upload the next one. I don't know how I'm going to upload these, but I'll be back with my next week's battle, which is already done as well, which had these mons. It was my first week using a draft that I had kind of chosen, if you like, rather than using somebody else's draft. So really, really excited about that, and I can't wait to show you guys. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.